And 3, 2, 1, boom. And we are back from another episode of Cry Gamers. This episode brought to you by Zen Real Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and accessories, zenrealclothingco.com. Or, and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Or if you're not into spending the money because COVID sucks and we're in stage 2 again, definitely check out the free Zen Real radio playlists. Also, new to the podcast, if you are in the Port Union area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out the Port Union Bakery. They've got delicious empanadas that Vish loves. And, you got like some chicken, you got beef, tuna, spinach, pineapple, all the great things. And they were voted number 1 on BlogTO for the best donuts in Scarborough. Fun fact. All right.
Cool.
So we are in Deja Vu Stage 2. Or Stage 2 Deja Vu. I just saw that on like Narcity.
It's only some, right? It's only Toronto, Ottawa, and like Peel region.
Yeah,
so you
totally,
can go
totally.
to like Markham.
Yeah, okay. So I was... Okay, totally.
Watch
So
movies.
Yeah. So my sister was saying that. She's like, but you can still go to Durham and watch movies. BJJ.
Pickering too, I think.
Yeah, Pickering, yeah.
That's Durham, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So they have BJJ in Toronto and BJJ in Vaughan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Toronto location's closing, but not the Vaughan one. And I was like, interesting how it's like very restricted to certain areas.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
But then I saw something, I didn't get into the article, but Ford apparently said he gave like a strong like warning for people who are traveling from our zones to those zones, because it's like obviously then they're gonna spread, right? They're like, okay, if we can't go in Toronto, we'll just go one out of the city.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people would do that.
Okay, yeah, true. Well, if a movie comes out, I would definitely check it out in Durham or Markham. Yeah.
But that's very few people. I like, even when you go into the theaters, how many do you actually see in theaters?
Oh, like very few, like 20 of us usually. Like
so
maybe less, like 10 of us.
So like you take that percentage, and who's gonna really go out to drive all the way there?
But what I found interesting is how France in Montreal, he's been locked down for a week before us.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they generally were always like a week
teetering
ahead in something, because they have much higher numbers.
Yeah. He was saying they're at 1,000 per day.
Yeah. Well, we almost hit that. But.
Yeah, we almost hit that. Yeah, it's crazy. It's getting pretty big again. But again, like you were saying about before, we were doing like 1,000 tests and 400 cases per day.
Yeah, you can say something.
And then now it's like 30,000 tests, and it's like
30 to 40,000 tests
versus 1,000. So the ratio is like really low.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I get like, you don't want to become like a crazy outbreak or something like that.
Yeah, but I think they agreed to like doing like certain areas you can do like certain lockdowns or something like that, versus like not all of Ontario. That wouldn't make sense. Right,
Totally. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. Like thinking about it, it's like especially like the yo-yo effect. You know, like you get your job back and then they cut it, and you're like, okay, now I have to like go back on like government assistance. You know,
but they knew that might happen, right? Like there was a
high chance of it
of a second
yeah. But I wonder if the solution for all of this, as a simple solution, is if you can create like a 2-second test that's like foolproof. Like instead of trying to figure out a vaccine, why not just do a test?
And no, they're doing both.
Okay, true, but
the thing is, like Canada just approved like one of the like I bet fast tests, something like one of those 15-minute ones, I think.
15-minute, okay, cool.
Yeah, but again, like how like it was taking for us so long, I think, as like the government or the Health Canada part to approve it, because like how do you know this is actually accurate?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Like false positives, false negatives too.
Well, it's better to have false positives than to have false negatives.
Totally, yeah.
So then at least you can, So that's the thing you need to know. Like, what are the numbers like? Is it false? If it's more false positives, okay, it's better to do those things anyways, because then you can get through those tests faster.
Right, and it's better to be like pragmatic than like silly about it. But I don't know. Like, I feel like with the vaccine, there's so much controversy around it that if you put your eggs into the basket of a vaccine, because like all I hear about on the news is like vaccine, but it's like, but if you can just do like some sort of quick screening, before we enter like a place, it's like, they take your temperature.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen.
I feel like that's like the most pragmatic thing, because like,
well, the temperature thing won't make sense.
No, but
I know. I mean, like something like that, right?
Like,
Right, something like that. Right.
All right, you guys are good going.
I got you. Yeah.
Because like I feel with the vaccine thing, it's like it's untested. It seems immoral to force people to get the vaccine.
I don't think they're gonna force people to get the vaccine.
But no, but there's like groups. I don't want to name it directly on the podcast, but they're like coalescing to be like, oh, let's sign this thing so that like everyone will.
Like groups of government or groups?
No, groups of like I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're like certain groups, like organizations.
Okay.
Like let's like sign this petition so that we'll all get the vaccine. We'll force other people to get the vaccine. It's like, ooh,
you can't force people to get the vaccine. I think that is one thing that you can't do.
Yeah, exactly. But is it like one of those things where it's like you can't shut down the economy? That's one of those things you can't do. And then now we're like, ooh, shutting down the economy again.
It's a bit different, I think, because you're.
Either way, you're taking away somebody's like rights and freedoms.
Yeah, liberties and freedoms. Yeah.
But also at the same time, it's like, do we really have those liberties?
Well, technically, yes and no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. But
yes
but if it's both positive and negative, you always err on like negative, right? Because it's it's like math, right?
Yeah. But I don't think they can get a vaccine in time. I just don't think it's gonna be.
Yeah, exactly.
Possible.
So it's like just focus on the tech.
All knowledge that we know that how long it took some of those smallpox vaccines to, which was there, like smallpox was there for like years and years and years. So it's like, I don't think it'll work out.
But I'm surprised nobody they don't promote that, the screening thing, the test thing, the seconds test. The only alternative I keep hearing about is like vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is
it's like the narrative they're pushing.
No, because there was a lot of things about the tests in the beginning.
Okay.
When it was first happening.
Okay.
Because first of all, it was more about like how
people
many
didn't like the test.
How many? Or? No. Like it was also invasive the way the test is done.
Oh, I saw a new test, by the way. It's like it's not all the way down your throat anymore. It's just the swab of the.
Yeah.
I saw this comedian. He was like getting my COVID test, and he was like going off, but it was like it didn't go down your nose.
No, so that's what I'm saying. They're implementing on different ways of doing those tests.
Yeah, totally.
Easier ways and trying to get to those faster ways too, right?
Yeah.
But there was a lot of that told in the beginning when it first happened because we weren't having enough tests,
right, or
equipment to do those tests.
Yeah.
So like. That's why I think in America they push for these rapid tests,
right,
and then these sort of things. So that's coming now here, which was kind of like we should have had that before schools opened. I think.
Right, for sure.
But most of the things isn't even coming from schools. Like even though we have schools open here, it's kind of like the numbers are not going up because of schools.
Oh, okay.
It's more for our age people who are bringing the numbers up. We're going out, and I think I don't know where I read this. Not sure if it's correct, but it's like 40% cases because of like from restaurants.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, no, that's true because when I was gonna go out to eat with my sister, and she's like, "Oh, that place had COVID," and I was like, "Oh, wow, it's like spreading on a." Yeah, like at a recreational level, like it's like it's really making its way through.
Yeah, that's what a virus does.
Yeah, it's weird.
I went to Uniqlo. I forgot that one weekend, right?
Yeah.
And then my mom called me. She's like, the next day, they're like they had COVID or something.
Oh, at Uniqlo?
No, yeah. Then I had to read the thing, and it's like, no, that was back in July, but the news of it's coming out now. And I went in like September or something. Or August.
Oh, interesting.
So it was like,
wow. Yeah, man. It's like, because of the delay. That's what it is. It's like the 14-day incubation period. It's like you just never know.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm wondering, I was having this like thought as I was getting out of the parking garage like yesterday. I was like, this is such a zombie movie. You know what I mean? Like what we have going on is very like zombie-esque. Except we can't see the zombie,
Well, it's the invisible.
You know what I mean? Like
Trump's term, the invisible.
And it's also not like like so deadly. Like it's not like we get bit and then we turn, like, it's not like a zombie thing,
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you could potentially die, but
you could potentially die, but it's not like seconds and then you turn and then it's like running through the entire population. The thing is so crazy, you know.
So yeah, I think it would be easier to quarantine if you can see what happens right away.
Totally,
versus
exactly,
takes month or not months.
That's
weeks.
the hard part about catching this one. It's like it's got 2-week incubation, so all these things that are coming up now and these people getting their tests, it's like, oh, that could have been from 2 weeks ago. Who were you with? You know, contact tracing, so important. It's crazy that it's like 28 days. Like they can just quickly flip the switch. You know what I mean? Like, okay, in these areas, 28 days, we'll reassess.
Well, he had a hard time really deciding that. Like it.
Oh, okay.
It took him when we got that 900 number, I think, to like. Well, I think they were thinking about
it
through
like
the week.
24 hours. Yeah, okay, because it was like
in the morning. The implementation of it was 24 hours from when he said it.
I mean, like it was like Ford holds emergency meeting to discuss like potential lockdown, and then like the next day it was like we're locked down. I was like, oh, I saw the news in the morning.
Well, yeah, I think he's he's been having these questions
right.
throughout the week because he kept saying like I don't like. He's right too. It's like I'm taking someone's livelihood away if I do this.
I know.
So like that's the thing that he has to really think about. Like, is this the right? Is this the right one at the right time? And then it's like, okay, like 28 days, and then you can't dine in, and how do you eat outside over here? Like it's too cold. No one's going to come for that. So
like yoga studios, martial arts studios, this is a terrible time.
Yeah.
You know, like it's weird.
It's weird that lane swimming is open, but
well, what?
lane swimming.
Oh yeah.
The only thing is like everything is closed, all these like type of classes or whatnot. But the only thing's open is like lane swimming. So.
Well, I guess you can distance maybe.
Like, it's the distance thing. You're not really in like groups. Like that's the reason.
But it's weird. It's weird to see how you like certain businesses are trying their best to like bend the rules enough. You know, like I got this like email from like my martial arts place of practice, and they were like, oh, we're gonna take the weekend to reassess the sweeping statement I was like, bro, like he said fully closed down, but it was like, we're gonna talk to the association, see if we're applied to these rules. But I'm like, if anything, close quarter grappling, breathing on each other, like that is,
of course,
you know what I mean? Like that's like, at least at restaurants it's like you're like distanced with your group, but like this one is like you're like fully breathing on each other. Yeah,
even with the restaurants, like they were cutting it because it's Thanksgiving weekend here, so it's like it really sucks for the restaurants.
Yeah, totally.
Because they were expecting people. They probably even ordered stuff for this weekend.
Yeah, true.
And now they can't use it.
No, for sure. So actually, my cousin was saying how like a bunch of orders were being canceled. Yeah. Because like people are afraid to leave again. It's like, whoa, that's so weird. And like it's weird. Well, I really do wonder what it'll be like at the end of this, because like being remote is so easy and it's so like prevalent. Like we're actually building out a structure where it's like you can be remote, you know, versus like in the beginning it was kind of like, we can kind of do this, but now it's like, no, we have to do this. So they figured out a way around it. It's like, could we potentially see like borders being eliminated? What I mean by that is like I can apply for like a job in the U.S., but
I see what you mean. Like it doesn't
I'm, like,
have to be
here, and then I just pay my taxes here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Maybe like I could see like, is it like a global world? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But like we were saying before, like in Thailand they do that a lot. Like those digital nomad cafes.
Yeah.
And they work for companies all around the world. They just have really fast internet. But like now we're all catching up to that point. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Like I'm still going into work through this whole time, which is like, which is like there are a lot of people there too that have started working from home too.
So. Oh, really?
Yeah. There are certain areas you can.
Okay.
But you still have to sometimes show up to check on samples and things like that, right?
Right. So do you think you'll be remote?
No,
never.
I don't think me.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. And then I wonder about like.
But there's like policies of wearing the mask and stuff. Like
you have to wear the mask and like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and daily check-ins with the there's a form to fill out.
Daily check. Oh, like how you're feeling?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, don't show up if you're sick.
Really?
Which makes sense. I think that's like the most general thing. Even before, like if you were sick, like before COVID, it's like don't go to work. Why would you go?
True, but then there are people who like you got a limited amount of sick days, right? So it's like then you got to balance that out. It's like I'm kind of sick.
Well, use it. That's what I'm saying. Like, well, I guess that was the push for the 2 weeks thing, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks sick leave from the NDP or whatever. Right?
Yeah. I think I had that. I had that at one of my places.
Yeah. So some people have it. A lot of places don't have that, right?
Yeah, true. But now it's like
well, it's not yet there, but they're
hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. I just don't. I was watching Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan. They were talking about like Hitler, and like how at that time people were losing their jobs, their businesses, so they need someone to blame. And I'm like wondering, like at the end of this, what if we saw like another one of those things happen? You know, like oh, the Chinese are the ones who brought this to
right.
You know what I mean? Like, ooh.
Well, yeah, that could happen. That's why there was an uptake in Chinese people buying guns in America, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
damn,
like during yeah. Like a lot of people who were buying new owners of guns in America in the beginning of this, because when he was starting to call it China virus, that Chinese people were the ones buying guns to protect their families.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because it's easy to just blame on people because you how do you blame on a virus you don't see, right? So
you need a common enemy. Yeah. But I wonder too, like this is also one of the issues with like having guns be legal. You know, it's like, okay, we'll just buy a bunch of guns. It's like, ooh, that's going to increase the potential for using those guns too, you know? And then isn't it weird to like normalize like gunfights? You know, like, so when I was in New York, not recently, like almost a year ago, before this whole virus thing, and like, I was watching like Brownsville. That's where Mike Tyson's from. Okay. But Brownsville apparently is like one of the biggest like hotspots for like gunfights because a lot of gangs are there. It's very like poverty ridden. And then on the news they're like, yeah, we had a gunfight on in Brownsville. We took out the bad guy, and they were showing like blood on the grass and on the news. And I was just like, it was so normal to them. And like the police were like, yeah, we got him though. And I was like, whoa, like it's like if there was a crazy gun battle in Toronto, we'd all freak out, you know, like what?
Well, yeah, I mean, every time we hear anything about guns here,
it's like, whoa, how'd you get the gun?
It's big news, yeah. Like, where did the gun come from?
Yeah.
Most likely they're from America, but yeah.
True. Yeah, exactly. It's weird. It's like as you go more and more south, it gets more and more like dangerous because then like you think about Mexico and the cartel, and you're like, whoa,
right.
That's even freakier, you know. It's because we're cold up here. Nobody wants to come.
And nobody goes outside in the wintertime. So
I know,
like,
exactly.
It's kind of like
yeah, totally. So, Trump, what do we think?
What were we gonna say? We were gonna add it on this one, but I forgot from last week something.
I don't remember. His wheezing?
Or going to the hospital. He had to go to the hospital. Was that what we mentioned already?
Well, I guess we can recap. He got COVID, and then he had to go to the hospital. But you were saying that the treatment was very
right. Yeah, there was like so many different things that he had in him that they're pumping him with. That is like
really like what? Like adrenaline? Like you just keep his heart going.
Steroids.
Really?
And, steroid type drugs and remdesivir and something. That's what they were saying is like a whole bunch of different things in him. But he's already had other pills too, I think.
It's like a chemical cocktail.
Yeah, that's the word that they were using.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was thinking like, what was the word they used? And that was a cocktail of all these drugs.
Oh, wow, damn.
And
I guess maybe that's why he's like, oh, I feel better than I was like 20 years ago because it's like, because you're on freaking steroids, bro.
But I don't know if it could also mess up your thinking, like your mind. Like, are you thinking straight?
True. You're not, dude, nobody even thought about that. And also, like, let's say he does win this time around. It's like how long before adverse side effects kick in? Yeah.
He's like 70 something, so it's like
yeah. And he's like in the prime age group for like dying from this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't sound too good. He didn't look too good in that video where he took off his mask and he was like wheezing. and then like
the breathing. Yeah. That looked
like,
bad.
It looked pretty bad. Like it looked like he was trying
right
to
now.
breathe.
I like the issue. I think he's gonna lose. I think because all like so many optics are bad for him right now.
Yeah, totally.
Like he has to look healthy, and he doesn't look healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the issue that he's gonna have. That
you can't have a president who's sick.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, they canceled the debate that was coming up.
Yeah, they were gonna do it virtual, and then he's like, I don't want to do it virtual. Like they're gonna cut my mic whenever I'm talking. That's what he said in his defense. But basically, it's like you're supposed to not like cut the mic, but like let the other guy speak as well.
Right. Totally,
in the first debate, he didn't even let Joe Biden. Like he interrupted him so many times.
Yeah.
It was like.
Yeah, that's weird. I get like too why there's so many. This maybe like this kind of just made it more evident, but you know those like left wing news channels that are super like progressive and like TYT, like Joe Rogan too. But it's because you're living in this culture and society that's so ridiculous. Of course, you're gonna pick at media. You know, like marketing is so prevalent in America.
Yeah.
But in terms of like everything, you know, like even the fact that he's not putting himself on camera, he's just tweeting about how like he's doing fine. But it's like that's an illusion. You can't see him doing fine. You're just reading something, you know?
That's right.
It's propaganda.
Yeah.
And I think like if you live
like
there,
I knew he was really sorry, budging, but like I knew he was really sick when he wasn't tweeting. Because his normal state is to always tweet.
Right.
And then he stopped tweeting, like when they sent him to Walter Reed. That means he must have been like really, really bad to be like away from his phone. Like that's like. But the thing is, like, yeah, he was sent back within that week, I guess. So.
Yeah, but you know, they signed NDAs, so like they can talk about it. But maybe he was there and he's like, just like fill me up with stuff and like send me back out.
It's funny, like, because I always like watch those, like when the press talks to them or interviews them or something, and it's like they ask a certain question, but the way they answer, you have to really understand. Like,
I know.
It's was he on respirator or something like that? And it's like not at this moment. So like, he was on it. So it's like,
or it's like he just went to the bathroom and then he's going back to be on the respirator. It's like not at this moment.
Yeah.
It's like it's very. But see, again, it's like imagine living in that kind of world where it's like you can't really believe everything you hear.
That's what the reporter's job is supposed to do, is find those things, right?
But who does that now? It's like you're being
the investigative reporting.
Only the investigative ones, but like few and far between. And if you watch
now, because there's a ton of people filled with, it's like opinion, like even on Fox. Says totally. Like there are some people that are actually good journalists on Fox, but then there's also other ones who are more popular, but I think they say it too. It's like they're opinionated.
Oh.
They're opinionated, and they're not real journalists. They're opinionated like talk shows.
Right.
So
right.
They can. It seems like news because it says Fox News on the corner, but it's not Fox. It's not news.
It's an op-ed. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's weird. I couldn't imagine, like, you have guns running rampant. You have like media that's trying to like confuse you. I mean, we got that here too, but like to a degree.
Yeah, I don't think it's as much. Like, I feel it's much more different. Like, whenever we go to America, like we see it, the vibe is different there.
Yeah, the vibe.
The energy is different. Like, you can see, like, I don't know if people trust each other. It's like there's a lot of that. I feel.
but there's also like, I mean, I feel like in that kind of world, your mind does become sharper because like we surround ourselves with that kind of like thinking of like deconstructing. Oh, where did that come from? Blah blah blah. And then in like Canada, I feel we don't do that. We take our media sources for granted. We believe that they're telling us the truth, but it's like we also have to look into what we're seeing here as well. Yeah. You know, but I feel like we don't because we're Canada. You know what I mean? Like we're softer, I'd say. But yeah, you think actually this is crazy. Henry Gracie actually had COVID too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, weird, right? Like I'm surprised it really made the rounds. He was gonna go to Abu Dhabi with Brian Ortega fighting next weekend, but then so he had it like 3 months ago, and then he kept testing negative, and he tested once positive. So they're like, He's like, but this is from before. Like I had it 3 months ago, and he's like, but they're like, if you go to Abu Dhabi and you test positive, you're gonna be like stuck because they were just gonna quarantine you, so you won't even be able to go to the fight. You'll have to wait 2 weeks before you can go home. Yeah. You know, it's like But what I'm saying is like, isn't that so weird? It's really making the rounds. Like The Rock had it.
Yeah. A lot of people had it. Yeah.
Like whoa, COVID, it's real. Yeah. But also at the same time, it's like these people, like Henner didn't seem.
But he had it for 3 months,
or like 3 months ago.
3 months ago. Maybe it's still in his system. Maybe
that's what they were saying. That's what they're saying. And then I was watching something else in the news. It's like well, not news. This thing that I have pulled up right here, but it's like we also don't know how long the effects are yet. We don't know how long it's in your system for. So it's like, 3 months ago, but the fact that you're testing positive for it now, it's like, so it's still in your system.
Because there's some people I saw where he was testing positive like for a whole month, but he had like no symptoms.
Oh, okay.
He was like normal.
Interesting.
But he kept testing positive.
Yeah, I wonder about that too. It's like, what if we had COVID and we just don't even know it? Because we didn't get tested, right? You and I. But what if they implement these like rapid tests before you enter stores, and it's like, okay, sure, I'll do it. It's like you're positive. It's like, what, bro? For how long? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think that was the thing right before. Was like, well, how many people are asymptomatic? Like,
yeah.
But then also like later you learn like asymptomatic people don't transmit it as much.
Right.
Compared to people who are actually sick. So.
But you know what's weird? If you think about like AIDS, right? That's kind of how people think about it now. You know, it's like who's got the AIDS back then, right?
But before it's the thing is like then they had like it's easy to do what do you call that, contact tracing
before
for AIDS.
Oh, how come? Why?
Because there's only one way to spread it.
Oh yeah, no. There's other ways. Like, can't you do it through like saliva, blood?
Yeah, but generally it's from real close contact, right?
Okay, yeah, true.
So you could do the contact tracing that way. That's what was happening before. You just can't do it with this. Like, you don't know where you got it from.
Oh yeah. True. No, I just meant like perceptually.
Yeah,
it's like AIDS.
It was like that. Yeah, back then it was like super feared. Yeah.
Yeah, super feared
with that.
Yeah,
but they were able to control it. I don't know how long it took, but like they were able to control it because they could like do the whole contact tracing thing.
Right.
They were trying to do the contact tracing. I think recently they stopped doing some of those contact tracing to only like specific things. I think like in Ontario, like it was just too big.
Like, how do you can't. Do 2 weeks? Like it's impossible.
Yeah,
the network effect within 2 weeks is crazy.
Yeah, like my dad was saying, like in India too, because at first they were doing the contact tracing. Then it's like you have 1 billion people there. So all of a sudden you got like 50,000 cases per day or something. And you're like, how do you contact trace that? You can't.
Totally. Yeah, you can't.
You can't. You have to rely on the test and you just stay home. Like that's the only thing that can be done.
Yeah. It's interesting too. Like I saw this thing about it was more like, it was a meme, but like it was saying, would you stay in for 2 weeks to open the economy back up? And like you just see the people fighting in the comment section. But it's like, it's interesting. It's like, is that all it would take if everything shut down for 2 weeks? It's like we get all of our groceries, nobody leaves for 2 weeks.
I think that's what they did in China, right?
Really? I don't know.
Well, it was like a month or something.
Oh, really? And it's like
Wuhan was full lockdown. Like you could only take like only specific days or time. Like only one person from the house could just go and get the groceries, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like there was no like, you just stay at home.
Yeah. Could you imagine if we did that? That'd be so nuts. Actually, that's how it was in the Philippines too, where my cousin is. Mm-hmm. He said like only one designated person is allowed to leave the house for like a certain period of time.
Right. I mean, it makes sense in those areas. There's like, even in India too, they did that, but it's hard to like you have to make people follow the rules, right?
Yeah.
If people don't follow the rules, then it's not going to work.
But they're like the difference between there and here is it's more, the government has way more power there. So it's like, okay, we'll shoot you. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll listen. But you can't do that here. You know, like what's our penalty here? Well,
yeah, I mean, it also depends. Like there could be there's a lot of corruption within the government too. It's like people, just pay me, then whatever.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
So like that's another thing that happens, right, in those areas. So
that's true too. Yeah, you're right. But okay, so but because we're so like lenient here, it's like, what are we gonna do? Fine each other. But even
that's what they were doing, right?
They were doing it, but it's like, what was the fine? Like nobody actually got the full fine. Like, did anybody get like $100,000 fine?
No, I don't know what the fine number was.
Right?
But,
like,
yeah, I don't think there is $100,000 fine.
Really?
I don't know how much. Like, what's the max you can get? I don't know.
I'm curious about that. I swear I saw like maybe I added a zero. It was $10,000 fine. 1 second.
Possible. That makes more sense to me.
COVID fine.
$10,000. I think that makes more sense.
COVID fine in Ontario is $10,000. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me. 100,000. It's like.
True. Could you imagine if they made it 100,000? It's like nobody would play around with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be like super strict, but I don't know. Like, I don't even know. Like, how would it work? Like, 2-week full shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to make like groceries free because who's gonna be working at the grocery store?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, would that work? Because it's not like if it was just within human, like human transfer.
Yeah,
I think that would work.
Oh, you think it's animals that are?
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah,
because they've seen that they say that they can carry it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So like it may not affect them at all, but they could be carriers to send like it comes back to humans. So it's like
weird.
Yeah. So like that's why they could bring like smallpox. I think it was smallpox. Like it was only within humans.
Right. Okay.
So you can actually like get rid of it.
Right.
But this is like it can be in everything.
Interesting.
All these other animals like birds could carry it, so they could spread it still.
How does this all end? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like.
Well, I don't know. Is it the herd immunity? Is it the way it ends?
No, I feel like if we do the rapid testing thing, it would naturally dissipate itself because it would be like, oh, like, no, I mean, like before you go into a store, the rapid test, you know, like the temperature check. And if it was positive, it's like, go home immediately, you know? And then it's like, okay, we can pinpoint these people really quick. I feel like there should be tests like in every entrance.
But the thing is, like, yeah, you have to make
something.
So many
millions and
Elon
must do it up, you know. Like,
yeah. Well, it's not only him. Like, you gotta have the expertise in that field.
Yeah, totally.
That, right? So,
but you know what I mean? Like, versus getting the vaccine, because like, will it work? Will it not work?
Yeah, but like, they're just talking. Yeah, I don't know if they're ever gonna get to a vaccine.
That's what I mean. So like, if you just do rapid testing in every entranceway.
Like, I know they stopped a lot of the vaccines. Like some of them, like, it wasn't working, so we had to stop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So like, to get an actual solution, I don't know when that's gonna be for a vaccine.
But going back to the rapid testing thing in every entranceway, if you did that, then it's like we could adapt to it.
Yeah, I think that's probably what will happen. Like, we will find ways to adapt around it.
Yeah.
To still, you know, have life, I guess. So,
right.
Like, we'd have to figure that out. And I think we don't have the equipment or like any kind of like,
know-how?
Yeah, we don't have that yet. To do like a 2-second test,
yeah,
right? Or like a quick, one of those like color change dye things.
That's what I was thinking.
Like,
yeah,
I know what you're thinking. Yeah, it's just like
you just like nose swab, put it in, and it turns blue.
Yeah. So like there's probably research going on. It's just again, you have to get to those results. Like how do you, what works? Like that's the thing that we have to figure out. And
to me, that sounds like the most pragmatic solution because you don't lose anything.
Right. I think both are being done. It's not. I think the focus on the media is being on this vaccine, but I think there's.
But I don't think the vaccine's pragmatic because it's like.
No, but I think that's the focus of the media. But I don't think that's what people. That's what like a lot of the tests are doing. Like they're doing a whole bunch of different things. They're not just doing. Like a vaccine. I think they're focusing on testing and they're focusing on like what's the best way to.
But what I'm saying is
fastest
like
way.
Everyone talking about vaccines in the media is like going to skew things. People are like, I don't want to take it. I want to take it. But if you're just like, oh, we came up with this non-invasive thing, you just like. People be like, all right, cool.
When there's like way too many people taking those tests, like the issue that we had here is taking 2 days, could be even, and there's a limit to how long the virus survives on the swab. So that's why they're also looking. That's why they approved that Abbott rapid test, but that's 15 minutes. So probably I think there is a group of scientists working on.
Yeah, the turn blue test.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what it will be. Yeah. You'd be all right. So So ending off, you think Trump's gonna lose this year?
I really feel like everything is not looking good for him right now.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I think
but
it was
it's
up in
like,
the air before he got COVID.
say that again.
I think it was up in the air before
Yeah,
he
I
got
think
COVID. I
it
think
was
COVID was a tipping point.
Yeah, I actually, without COVID, he would have won.
Really, you think so?
If there was no COVID at all, he would have won.
True.
It's just the COVID thing messed, like, really effed with his whole thing with having over 200,000 people dead in America. It's like all that blame goes to him. So it's like there's a lot of.
Oh, I meant like without him getting COVID.
Oh yeah, no, like, so on top of that, like again, yeah, it's like starting from the beginning, it's like no COVID at all existed.
Oh yeah, totally.
Then he would have won.
Yeah.
And COVID came in, shutting down the economy, then all this other stuff.
Right,
like,
right.
People so many people getting sick, and so many people dying from it, and it's like continuously the riots, the protests. It's like this whole year was not
totally
his year.
Yeah, no, not his year.
Him getting COVID now, it's like.
Yeah, what a way to end it.
It can't do the rallies.
Yeah.
Right, that's what he wants to do.
It was funny in the beginning. I was always thinking, like, I wonder what it would be like if he won, And then when he won the first time, it's like, okay, we're going to see like a total shift in the system. I was curious, like, what is it going to be like to have this media celebrity running an entire country? And it's like, oh, that's what happens. You know what I mean? Like where we are today, it's like, ooh, that's probably not the best move. But one thing I was going to say that's like super commendable.
Oh yeah,
at least, out of all this whole thing is he didn't change. Like,
yeah, he's who he is.
You know what I mean? Like when we were watching the clip, and then I was like, it's almost like watching an episode of The Apprentice. Him, like that's who he is. Like if you watch the show, or if you've seen him in media at all, you're like, oh, he really didn't change. Like he dropped the F-bomb. Was it yesterday? When was the interview?
I think it was like yesterday, a couple days ago or yesterday.
Yeah, so he's like, we're like, yeah, if they F with us, but he didn't say F. He like said the full word.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, like,
yeah,
it's so colloquial, if they F with us.
Yeah, I think he uses it all the time. It's just, it didn't mean to slip up there, especially out on public.
Or what if he just doesn't care at this point? He's just like, whatever, bro.
Maybe it's the drugs,
Oh, true. Yeah, like a Rosie O'Donnell kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I feel like he's gonna lose too. One thing, they say like don't judge a book by its cover. That guy, the one his running mate, his VP.
Mike Pence?
Yeah, looks like that's a book you can read from the cover, bro. Like you look at him, you're like, whoa, that looks a little racist to me. Like, I mean, I don't know if he is.
No, I know that's true. He could look like he could fit in that robe.
Yeah, really well. Totally, yeah. But you know what? You never know. Maybe he's in an after-school program he's helping people out with. We don't know because the media paints a picture. You choose to comb your hair in that way and like wear that suit and that colored tie. You're kind of looking like a Watchmen.
Cyclops member.
A Cyclops member. Yeah, he's looking like a Cyclops member. But that's just me judging a book by its cover.
Yeah. But it's just our opinion.
He might have an after-school program dedicated to helping underserved youth of color.
Yeah.
I believe it. Probably does.
Yeah.
Probably does. We don't know.
Could be a front. We don't know.
It could be a front. He's like, maybe he's wearing that stuff because he's like, let me get the supremacist vote. But in reality, it's like a bait and switch because I'm going to show you guys how to get along with all of the races.
Yeah.
Would you say he's evangelical or something?
Yeah. That's why I think he picked him for that.
You ever heard the term WASP?
No.
Okay,
I think so. I don't know.
So it's like a word for like really rich looking people who are like Caucasian.
No,
so like so it stands for white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like that's what you call people who like look very preppy and rich. But it's like you open with white Anglo-Saxon. Like it's like he fits that mold.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, funny. Like, yeah. When you look at people like that, you're wondering, like, how pervasive is your power?
Yeah, I don't know.
Backroom
Like
deals, you know.
and yeah, there's no way he's ever gonna be a VP with him. Like only way was Trump to pick him because he needed him for that vote.
What
Like,
was he? Is he a politician?
he's actually a politician.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, he looks super.
I think he's like the senator of Indiana or something like that.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay.
He's VP, but
Crazy. He's Cyclops member. Maybe. I don't know. After school program, probably.
yeah. We never know.
Yeah. All right. It's looking like a very interesting 28 days ahead of us. Yeah. Or like Groundhog Day. It's like Groundhog Day, bro. Same thing every day.
I think they had to do this before the Thanksgiving because I think
it would have spread more. Through Thanksgiving.
I think so. I think so. That's probably why they did it.
It's funny how France got PS4 and he's like playing, and then he's like, yeah, I'm just doing the same thing I did before COVID. Now I just have PS4 so I can connect. It's perfect now. Like, yeah, totally. Like, I honestly think that's where it's all like headed, man. Like online gaming.
No, they like talking about PlayStation. It's like they expect PS5 to sell a lot.
Yeah, of course. What else are people gonna do? Yeah. You know, even like
they're making more units than they did like the first year of PS4, which makes sense.
Totally, yeah. And with everything closing, people who still have their jobs, it's like, what are you gonna spend it on now? Mm-hmm. Like, there's no after school program, there's no trip you're gonna take.
Yeah. You're not doing any vacations this year, so
it's really
next year. So
you know, yeah. I don't know. Interesting times. Any final thoughts?
Well, it's an interesting time, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
I don't know what else to say. It's like,
it's funny. I bet you if we look back at like the other podcasts, it's like it'll be really interesting. Like when this is all over. This is like a World War II moment, you know? Like, like I bet like during World War II time, people were like, "Oh, this will never end. This is gonna be crazy for the economy." Blah blah blah. And then look, they like pulled together. Like humans are very resilient.
Yeah.
You know, throughout history, there's so many rise and falls. Because of multiple things, you know, like people thought it was the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Like, this is not going to be the end of the world.
No,
but it's definitely a tipping point towards a new world. But it'll be interesting to like when this is all over to go back to it and like, wow, this was the full transition. We can listen to the transition week by week through the podcast. You know, like our opinions changing because I believe like in the beginning we weren't thinking like, oh, it's an interesting time. We were, but like saying that. It hits different now.
Yeah.
You know,
like I remember from the beginning, like not wearing masks. Yeah. Like I was saying that, but it's like when the evidence comes out, like you just got to follow through with those sort of things. That makes sense.
Totally. And then we all thought it was gonna be 2 weeks, you know, maybe a month. You know.
Well, I didn't think that.
Oh, really? You knew it was gonna be like. Oh,
yeah, because
so where we are.
So I was watching different things that are not popular to watch.
Okay. Yeah.
That are not in the mainstream, and that one guy that was saying, I don't remember his name, but. Because he was comparing it like that's why I kept bringing up Sweden.
Okay.
Because they were really comparing like what Sweden is doing is the right thing versus everybody else. Like you're gonna see a second wave what you're doing. Doing a show. So like whatever he said has been happening.
Yeah.
Like if you do this is gonna happen. You're gonna keep getting more, and you're gonna make the virus live longer. But it's a tough decisions for these guys to make. So.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like I knew it was gonna stay longer. I knew like. What he was saying, that's why like my view was different. My understanding of the virus was different.
All right, I'm wondering about this conspiratorially. Like, you think there's like a global agenda being pushed? Like I've been seeing that so much. Like with the COVID thing, they're using it as a guise to like reshape world order. You know.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
No, this is the worst thing for them.
No, but like
who's doing that?
Like
who would do that?
Tech companies or like. You know, like the government policing our actions. They're basically like we're becoming like a police state globally. You know, like I see the validity.
I see
in that
what
point,
they're saying. I
know.
understand what they're saying, but I don't think it's like a big conspiracy thing. It might lead in that direction as it naturally could.
Yeah, totally,
right.
Totally.
Versus like someone actually wanting to lead it that way.
And I don't think like I don't think anybody's that powerful enough. Even like oil companies.
No.
Like,
yeah.
No, this is hurting oil companies' business because like no
one's driving. Like it's actually more like
detrimental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Apple doesn't want this.
PlayStation 5, they're the ones who did it. They're like, because they're like, yo, if everyone's locked down,
Yeah, but it could affect
it.
No, but maybe instead of 10 million, they could have made 20 million because they can't produce as many.
True.
So there's so many other things, right?
I don't know. I don't believe in that either. I couldn't see it. Do you see the sign, the one with the person who's like mandatory no masks inside the store?
Oh yeah,
it's like the only
you
virus,
that,
the virus of the mind. It's like, bro, come on, like,
yeah.
Can you do that? And then somebody wrote like
it's not that big a deal. Like you don't like you wear it only inside, like in the building. It's like
yeah,
like in their store or whatnot. But it's like
it's
outside,
just a mask, bro. Like
most of the time, I'm still spending my time without a mask.
Yeah, totally. But but the way they see it is, it's like you're exercising your police rights on me. You know, you're like taking away my freedoms. But what I don't get is like, okay, bro, like look at the bigger policing here.
Yeah,
the taxes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're being taxed on everything you sell to give back to the government. I feel like that's more of a strong arm than making us wear a mask, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what is a mask to me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're paying an additional 13%
mm-hmm.
on top of what you're buying to give to the government.
Yeah.
Why don't you complain about that? Because it's normal. So it's like, yeah, when that masks become normalized, nobody will care, you know?
Yeah, I think it's pretty normalized. I see it a lot of the time now. Like, there will be, of course, some people.
No, but like those people with those signs, it's like...
But those are far and few between. Like I think majority of people still...
Yeah, follow it.
Yeah, are fine with it.
But but that's what I'm saying is like, it's weird that we're not looking at other agendas. We're like so focused on this mask thing because it's like, it's so tangible.
Yeah, something you can see. Something.
You know what I mean? So they're just like, no, take that off inside the store. It's like, bro, like...
But that's like one store. Most stores would want you to wear it.
True, yeah, no, totally.
Like, it feels weird if you don't wear it, right?
Like, I see a lot of people not wearing it. I'm like,
in the mall, in the stores?
In here, some stores, yeah. Like,
I'm like, ooh, this is weird. In the building?
Yeah, the building, some stores I've seen it. And then I was like...
I don't think I've seen it in a store, though.
I was at like a takeout place, and they did not have a mask, and I was like, that's weird.
Yeah. But like, we're looking at them weird now, right?
So we are looking at them weird. And it's like, it was weird because like, they looked at me like, why are you looking at me weird? I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
We're all supposed to be wearing a mask. We're in this together.
Yeah.
I actually like the whole mask thing because it's like, it adds a bit of like mystery. Like, you know, like, especially somebody like, if you're antisocial, you don't want to smile.
That's right. That's right.
Like, you can keep your like, you just smile with your eyes. Nobody can see your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or we have to start reading people's eyes better, like versus.
True, yeah, that's true. Yeah, weird. Yeah, social norms are definitely gonna change after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more even after this, there'll be like more people wearing masks.
Yeah, when they don't feel well.
Even like when it's gone.
Yeah, I
think so
too. Yeah. I mean, I would. That's so dope. Like,
I think it makes sense. I mean, Asia was already doing that.
It's exactly. Yeah. It's like normalized.
Like, they were
Asian
more.
countries.
Yeah, and it made more sense. It's like, I don't know why people complain. Like, why are they wearing a mask? They're sick. Yeah, they're protecting from you getting sick.
Yeah,
that's what
totally,
they were.
Totally. Yeah, I remember I was in this like meeting before, and they were like, oh, let's talk about like racism or whatever, and they were saying how like the mask. What's interesting about the mask is that like before forcing people to wear masks, like they were wearing like hijabs and niqabs, and like people were like being really like racist towards them. But like now it's like normal to wear a mask, and it's like how easily we flip, you know? But then what I said was like, but then what does that mean about everything else? Like, if you realize this now, so what does it mean about your foundation of beliefs? It's ever changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course.
People who have these like extremist points of view, it's like, but you're not really living at that point. You're just like, you're buttoning down for one side for like no reason, you know? Like, for those people who like vote for Trump because he's conservative, it's like, but you're not looking at the evidence, you know? Yeah, weird times.
Yeah.
All right. So be sure to pick up your tees and your accessories at zenrealclothingco.com. Use offer code SOCCERTEES at checkout for 20% off select items. And if you're located within the Port Union area of Scarborough, Toronto, Canada, be sure to check out the Port Union Bakery. Say, hey, I heard the Socratic Gamers talk about you guys at the counter. They'll love it. Super dope. All right, till next time, Vish. Wear your mask.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Peace.